Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Subos page 68, which discusses a continuation of the laws of giving tzedakah, giving charity. And it says, in order for a person to be able to collect tzedakah, they have to have a net worth less than 200 zuz, which is quite fascinating because the gematria, the numerical value of the word tzedakah, spelled tzadik daled kuf hey, Tzadik is 90, Daled is 4, Kuf is 100, Hey is 5. If you add 90 plus 4 plus 100 plus 5, it's 199 exactly, which means a person is allowed to collect charity if their net worth is only 199. However, if they have more than that, and let's say they would take anyway, so the law is that the courts could actually come and take that money away because it was received incorrectly. In fact, it's very fascinating that even though it's such an important mitzvah, and a person who does not do this mitzvah properly, it's actually equated to a person who is an idol worshiper. As a person can understand, some people actually worship the money that they have, and jokingly people say on a dollar bill it says, "In God we trust," because they actually view money as their deity, as their God. But according to Rabbi Eliezer, he said that we're very fortunate that there are people that incorrectly collect charity because it gives us a little bit of an out for not always giving charity. Of course, we're supposed to, and we shouldn't judge a person and be so quick to say, oh, this person doesn't deserve it. But the reality is, because there are these types of people that are ramoyim, that are tricksters in this matter, so it's okay sometimes if you didn't give, and maybe it's not the greatest of sins by not doing so. Now in this, the Talmud here tells us that we don't actually, to get to this 200 zuz, we don't evaluate their house or any of the things that they need. In other words, this is specifically referring to liquid assets, that even if, let's say, they have a house, they have a car, they have certain things which are necessities, they don't need to sell it in order to be able to get to the evaluation of whether they have 200 zuz. 200 zuz represents that even though they have houses, then they have a house, and they have a couple of basic things, but the reality is those are things that they need to live, and therefore they still are able to collect charity. It's also worthwhile pointing out that if, let's say, a person does have 199 zuz, it doesn't mean they're only allowed to collect up to 1 zuz. They can only get to the 200. They're allowed to collect even more, provided that when they started collecting, they had they were beyond or below this number of 200. Lastly, it depends on what you have. It doesn't mean you could have all these luxuries and you just have less than 199 zuz. It has to be that the things that you have that we allow you to keep and we still allow you to collect charity are things that you actually need. However, as the Talmud uses as an example, if you have a plow which is made out of silver, now that doesn't seem to be very logical to have a plow which is made out of silver. A regular plow makes some sense. You need it to be able to work. However, a silver plow is not necessary. And if you have that, you would actually have to sell it, and then we would evaluate to make sure that you have 200 or less than 200 to be able to evaluate whether or not you should be able to collect charity.